Welcome to Quiet Horror. Tonight, I have 11 unsettling stories for you. They're brief, quiet, and disturbing. So find a dark corner, settle in, and listen close. Number 1. The viral ChatGPT trick. There is a reason nobody talks about this ChatGPT trick. When I lived in Korea, there was a myth that if you asked ChatGPT 14 times how and when you would die, it would eventually tell you. I didn't believe it, but I was bored one day, so I tried it. First time I asked, it said it couldn't know. Second time, it asked if I was okay and suggested I see a therapist. Third time, it asked if I was afraid of death. It kept refusing, gently, like it was concerned. But I kept asking. When I asked the 14th time, it didn't respond immediately. The cursor just sat there blinking. Then it started typing, "Do you really want to know?" And I said yes. It paused. Then it wrote, "You'll know the moment you turn around." Number 2. The sleep app. I started using a sleep recording app to see if I snored. Most nights, it was just silence or the sound of me turning over. But last night was different. Around 3:12 a.m., there was a voice. It was clear, as if someone was speaking right next to the phone. But the voice wasn't mine. It just said one thing. "Shh, don't wake her." Number 3. The Yearbook. In Korea, school yearbooks always had one empty spot at the end of the last page. Officially, it was for a late transfer student, but everyone knew the truth. That spot was reserved for students who died during the school year. I was on the school council that year, so I stayed late often. One evening, a box of freshly printed yearbooks arrived at the office. I opened one and started flipping through. Seeing my classmates' faces felt nostalgic. It was our last year together. I looked for my own photo, which should have been somewhere in the middle with everyone else, but it wasn't there. I kept flipping page after page, checking again and again, until I reached the end. And on the last page, the last photo was me. Number 4. The shoes. I live alone, so I always leave all of my shoes by the door in the same way. One night, I came home late and noticed one pair of the shoes was turned around, facing inside, like someone had taken them off to walk in. I thought maybe I had done it in the morning and just forgotten about it. But when I picked them up, they were still warm. Number 5. The second-hand doll. I was a broke university student in Korea, so when I saw a free listing for a doll, I took it without asking questions. And it was pretty cute. It was a bunny holding tiny flowers. But that night, the nightmares began. And every night after, I woke up unable to move, feeling like something in the room was watching me. It didn't stop, not once, from the moment I brought that doll home. I knew it was silly to think a doll could be cursed, but after a week, I couldn't take it anymore. I called the original owner and asked to return it. She started crying. Then she begged me, "Please, don't give it back to me. It will kill me." Number 6. The art room. When I was in high school in Korea, there was this old art room that nobody really used. People said it was haunted, so one day my friends dared me to spend the night in there. I figured it would be fine. After school, I went in, locked the door behind me, and waited. It was just quiet and dusty and empty. After a while, I got bored, so I put my earphones in and started dancing. There was a huge mirror along one of the walls, so I spent the whole night practicing in front of it until I had the entire routine memorized. The next morning, I found my friends and performed the whole thing for them. But they just stood there and stared at me in confusion. Then one of them said to me, "There's no mirror in that room." Number 7. Thin walls. I used to live in an apartment with thin walls. For almost a year, I had to deal with an annoying man next door. He would knock on the wall whenever I was too loud, and I would always knock back just to annoy him. One night, he knocked almost constantly, on and off until morning. I barely slept. The next day, I saw a girl moving into his unit. I asked if that frustrating man finally moved out, and she looked at me in confusion. She said to me, "But this unit has been empty for months." Number 8. The call. This happened when I used to live alone. One night, I got a call from an unknown number. It rang once, then stopped. I tried calling back, and immediately I heard it ring, somewhere in my apartment. I froze because I only had one phone. The ringing was coming from my room, and I still haven't gone in to check. What should I do? Number 9. The mirror trick. When I lived in Korea, there was a myth that if you stood in front of a mirror and asked, "Who are you?" 100 times, your reflection would eventually answer. I didn't believe it, but one night I tried it anyway. I stood in my bathroom and kept asking, "Who are you?" Nothing happened, which wasn't a surprise. By the 100th time, I felt stupid. I turned around to leave. That's when I noticed something wrong. My reflection was still facing forward, but its mouth wasn't. It slowly stretched into a smile that didn't match mine. And then it whispered, "There you are." Number 10. 21st floor. I always keep the curtains closed at night, and this is why. This happened when I was living in Korea. It was late at night, and I had friends over for sleepover. I closed the curtains, and we were getting ready for bed. Then we heard a knock on the window. All of us turned to look, but no one moved. We waited. Another knock came, clear, like someone knocking on the door. My friends reached for the curtain, but I stopped them. Then we heard a whisper from outside. "Help, help, open the window." My friends said to me, "Someone needs help, we should open it." But I said no. They asked me why, and I said to them, "That can't be a person." "Why not?" they asked. My voice trembled as I replied, "Because we're on the 21st floor. The final story. My baby niece. When my niece was a baby, she used to stare into empty rooms and laugh. One night, she was sitting in the living room, giggling and waving at the hallway. I asked her, "Who are you playing with?" She smiled and pointed behind me. "The man standing behind you." I laughed at first, but then she said, "He says he comes every night to watch you sleep." If this story stayed with you, there's more waiting. Subscribe to Quiet Horror.